All right, here we go. Trying some things out here. We are going to try and plot some pitcher release points in R. Yeah, it's very, very exciting stuff here. So I have the data already in that we're looking at here. What I'm trying to do is plot the release points for Aaron Sanchez from, let's say, 2019, the last full season that he had. He was out in 2021, in 2020, I should say, and see how he's changed, or maybe has or hasn't changed his release point to start the year so far in 2021, coming off of that shoulder injury. So this is the first time I've ever tried doing some release point plotting in R. I usually would just go to like Brooks Baseball or something like that, but apparently they haven't had their 2021 numbers that are not available yet. So kind of left to do it by myself here, which is fine. Of course, I want to get to know this a little bit better. So I have it set up here, so I just want to see if I can kind of get it done here on my own here. I'm not the biggest R expert here, and pardon all of this stuff that's on the side here. It's a little bit messy. I'm a little bit unorganized with how I'm handling this, but that's okay. So the first thing you want to do, I guess, is, well, actually, hang on one second. Right, okay, just had to pull up something here. Okay, so first thing that we're going to do is we're going to try to plot his release points by pitch type. So I could do it as a, I want to try to get it, four seamer and curveball all in one plot, right? But I think the way that I can at least see if make sure that I'm doing it correctly here is to do the data. Just start off by doing Aaron Sanchez release 2019, I guess we can start with. And so X, so looking at my data here as terms of what I want the X value to be, we could do horizontal or a vertical release point. It really shouldn't matter. But I just want to see what I might want it to look like here. So give me one sec while I figure that out. Okay, so I probably want the vertical to be the y-axis. I think that's usually how it's done, is get the vertical on the y-axis. So release position X will be our oops, I forgot to do set X value. So here we go. X equals release point, or what is it again? It's release position X. Yes, just making sure. And Y equals it would be release point X, or Z actually. So do that, and then make it into a geom point. And let's just try that out for right now. And okay, that's interesting. I forgot a parenthesis. That's what the deal is. And I forgot another parenthesis there. What is going on? All right, of course, I forgot the name of the Y is not position, it's not release points, release POS, position Z. So I just messed up that right there, so that's okay. So this is what it looks like. This is what the finished product looks like here on the plot. Of course, we want to eventually get this to be colored by pitch. But the other thing that we can do is, because you can't really tell much from this plot, the scales are kind of a bit wonky, so we can change up the scales a little bit to get it to start at 0, or I guess to make this a bit more what would look like a bit more normal. Right, okay, so I think we want to change the scales up, so what we'll do is we'll have to edit that. That's fine. Oops. So we'll do what? What is it? There we go. Geom point like that. There's just formatting there was annoying me. So we'll do scale X continuous. So we want the X scale to go from breaks or sequence. We want it to go to, let's say, -4. I don't know the data offhand here, but a sequence from -4 sounds pretty good to me. So let's try that out first. From equals -4 2, and let's say to 4. Why not? To +4. And so, okay, and then we'll see what that looks like, what that ends up looking like. Probably can't do the -4 then, right? So I might need to look that up. How do you get rid of the negative? How do you do the -4? All right, rather than me sitting around for five or so minutes and figuring out what the issue was, I've just went and did some research, and yes, the limits is what I was looking for here. So I got them all bunched up now, so we can take a look at the plot. So this is his release point essentially, and this is his release point in 2019. So there we go, we got that kind of set up. I can change the size of this as well. I just kind of did it in 10 just to make it a bit more clear. That's fine. So the next thing we can do is now color this. I want to try to color this by pitch type. So let me get my notepad back up here. So let me see what I can do here. I want to see if I can get this done here. What we can do is we can do the subsets, right? We can do it as a subset. I think that should work. So we need to set that up. So we can do four-seamer 2019 is a subset of the data frame, the data set, Aaron Sanchez release 2019, and the pitch, was it? Pitch type. Where pitch type, it's what? Yeah, okay. Just wanted to make sure I got the pitch type equals FF. And for whatever reason here, yes, 1371. He threw 1,300 fastballs last year. Or 19. He threw 839. So from what I see is that he's throwing his fastball, or at least in this data set, they're combining four-seamers and sinkers into one, right? Because he threw, according to Baseball Savant, he threw 839 fastballs, four-seamers, and he threw 487. Yeah, so they're kind of weird that I'm getting a different total here, but it looks like they're combining the fastballs and sinkers as one, which is interesting. I'm not exactly sure why they're doing that. It didn't do that in the 21 version. You see we have sinkers and cutters only here, or curveballs only here, no four-seamers. We're not plotting the four-seamers here. But when I was getting the data from Savant, it gave me it. I wasn't exactly sure why it was doing that, but that's okay. So we can do that, and now we can plot now the rest of it. It should be pretty straightforward. Right, where all we have to do now is just plot. Essentially, we're just plotting over it. So geom point, the data equals. It's going to equal the four-seamer 2019, fastball, I guess, 2019. And then we want to color it. Let's see, we'll usually do red. How about we do red for the color of the fastballs, and the size, oops, will be 5 as well. And let's just run that to see. Did I forget? Yep, I forgot to put the plus sign in there. That's okay. And we're taking our time here. So there's the ones that are four-seamer. It's interesting. Why are they all red? Four-seamer data equals four-seamer 2019. Color equals red. try it now with the curveball. Oh, we didn't do the curveball yet. Okay, so let's do that. Curve 2019 is just the same thing as this, essentially. Pitch type equals curve, so CU. And we have 13. Yeah, what the hell? It's giving me all of them as pitch type curve. That doesn't make any sense. Why would it be giving me 1300 curveballs? See, it's giving me all of these here. That's explaining it. Okay, so that's a bit odd. I don't know why it's doing that. Pitch type. Pitch type. Yeah, that's what we want. I mean, the other thing we can do is always try to color it by pitch type. If that might work as well, but I just want to, like, I'm not sure why. Color by pitch type. It's weird that it's doing that. I'm still uncertain though. I'd like to figure out why it's not doing it like that. The other thing we can do is do scale, color it by the scale, or color it by the pitch, but I'd like to figure out why it's giving me all of them here. I'm doing a subset. It's pretty standard, right? I mean, pitch type, where, freaking 2 equal signs is what you need. 2 equal signs is what you, now we have 532 curveballs. Look at that, which is how many he did throw in 2019. I'm just checking that. Yeah, that's what it is. See, look at that. I'm stupid. I'm stupid. All right. So, yes, we can fix that now. And that should be, we can run this again. Yes, I guess, okay, so I guess we can just filter the curveballs while we're at it. This is a time, man. This is a time. Why? I have the comma out of place there. There you go. It's just bugging me. Color equals, and we'll do the curveballs in blue. Why not? It's pretty standard. You do the fastballs in red, and you do the curveballs in blue. Pretty standard, at least that's the way they do it on Savant. So we'll do that, and finished product is, okay, so here we go, we got it. So that's what we're doing, that's what we get. Pretty standard. That's not a big difference in release point. Looks like they're all pretty much well on top of each other. So that's that. Now what we wanted to do is do it for 2021. So we're looking at sinkers as opposed to four-seamers for whatever reason. Subset of the Aaron Sanchez. It's actually the same thing. I could just copied and pasted it. That's okay. Where pitch type equals, I'm still recording, right? Yes, I am. Okay, good. Just making sure. Equals sinker. The 1 equal sign, man. that's fun, man. That is fun. Oh man. Okay. And then I can just, I'm just gonna copy this just to make things a little bit easier here. Curveball and curveball. There we go. So we throw 93 curves, just making sure that the data is accurate. 93 curves, and how many sinkers did they say it was? It was down here. It should be 86. It is 86. Nice. Okay. So this is essentially just the same thing now, except we're just changing the data that we're working with. So instead of 2019 numbers, we're looking at 21, and instead of four-seamer, I guess just fastballs in general, we're looking at sinkers and curveballs of 2021. So this should be pretty straightforward. Just copy paste, change some things, and go forward here. And yes, so there it is. So again, they aren't straying too far from each other. That is true. Um, Again, that was the case last year, or in 19. But you can see, as my suspicion told me, is that it's a bit of a different release point. It's a bit less over here, but I mean, it's not super dramatically different. It's not. Um, but it is different. I do wonder what kind of a difference that's making. Um, so that's interesting. I mean, we can pretty up these graphs a bit here, but that's pretty much the point here. It was just to kind of quickly, although it wasn't all that quick, run through some release point plotting. Just because I don't think I have a resource like this currently available. I think I had to do it myself because Brooks Baseball's not. But I didn't check fully, so I could check again. But yeah, and the ones on Savant, I'm not a big fan of. The ones on Baseball Savant, I'm not a huge fan of. So the way that they show the release point, I'd rather see it like this as opposed to what they do on Savant, where it's like a 3D motion. I would rather see it like this so I can see what the difference is. So in terms of thinking about what the difference is, I mean, what might the difference be from a different release point? Yeah, it depends. I have to look at, what he's doing. I mean, from a different release point, the pitches might move a bit differently, which is interesting. But is this such a dramatic difference? Is what I need to kind of figure out. What I would need to figure out next is if that's a significant difference. If this is a significant difference to, this, and it does look significant. I mean, that is pretty much right on top of each other, right there, bang bang. Red on top of blue in the same spot. Granted, that is good. You're not changing your release point by pitch, but. It's not, it's a different, that is different. That is quite different. So, but that's pretty much that. Just wanted to kind of run through this a little bit. Kind of wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be, but we did actually learn something here. I did learn about the limits. I didn't know about that when I was setting up the scales. Did not know about that. So that's interesting. And that should pretty much do it. So, yeah, buying some release points. That's it.